صلوات. اے چاند کربلا کے تو نے تو دیکھے ہوں گے، اترے تھے اس زمیں پر عرش بری کے تارے. اے چاند کربلا کے، اے چاند جلوہ گر ہے ہاشم کا چاند، یہاں پر خیرات روشنی کی لے لیجیو یہاں سے. اے چاند، اے چاند اس زمیں پر رکھیو ہمیشہ ٹھنڈک، سوتے جو ہیں یہاں پر زہرا کے ہیں یہ پیارے. اے چاند تسنیم و سلسبیل و کوثر کے ہیں یہ مالک، مارے گئے جو پیاسے اس نہر کے کنارے. اے چاند مارے گئے یہیں پر بے دردیوں ستم سے، مسلم کے دونوں بیٹے زینب کے دونوں پیارے. اے چاند پامال ہو رہی تھی قاسم کی لاش رن میں، عباس اور سرور چنتے تھے ان کے ٹکڑے. اے چاند بازو کٹے یہیں پر عباس با وفا کے، اذن وغا نہ پایا بانی بھلا نہ پائے. اے چاند اس سرزمین پہ گزرا سرور پہ یہ بھی صدمہ، سینے پکھائی برچی ہم شکل مصطفیٰ نے. اے چاند اس بن میں ایک بچی بابا کو ڈھونڈتی تھی، بکھرے ہوئے پڑے تھے جب سر بریدہ لاشیں. اے چاند پھر یہ بھی تم نے دیکھا وہ غم رسیدہ بچی سینے پسو رہی تھی بے سر پدر سے لپٹے. اے چاند بازو بندھے یہیں پر پہلے پہل حرم کے، इस सरजमी से निकले सज्जाद सर झुकाए, ऐ चाँद करबला के तूने तो देखे होंगे, उतरे थे इस जमी पर अर्शे बरी के तारे, ऐ चाँद। सो मोहन साहब प्लीज।
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا العبد المؤيد والرسول المصدق المصطفى الأنجل المحمود الأحمد القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه ومتقن خطابه: وأنه أضحك وأبكى. We just passed the departure or wafat anniversary of Imam Zain al-Abidin salawatullahi alayhi. As you may know, according to the history of Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi alayhim ajma'een, Imam as-Sajjad was famous for expressing his sorrow over the martyrdom of his father, Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. He was Imam after his father for 35 years. And you can notice, according to the reports, that he was, in this 35 years, was crying over his father. And usually people, when they lose their loved ones, will cry for sometimes few days, few weeks, few months. By the year, most of people, actually the sorrow would be subsided, and there would be no crying anymore. But Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein continued to cry for his entire life. So it means that there was a purpose behind this crying. It was not only the crying out of sadness, it was the purpose behind this crying. And as you know, at the time of Bani Umayyah, at the time of also Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein, persecution was so severe people had no freedom of speech, and people were losing their lives for talking. If the government didn't like the talking, then it was very easy for them to remove the person. The government doesn't like it. So this is the reality of that time. So as you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, Allah is the one who makes people to laugh and makes people to cry. إِنَّهُ هُوَ أَضْحَكَ وَأَبْكَى. Why we cry and why we talk, laugh. So they say, you cry because you cannot express yourself by word. That's why you cry. When you cannot express yourself, you cannot express your emotion by the word, then the crying is the way to express yourself. When you cannot also express yourself by the word, you are laughing. That's why the laughing is the first means for the human baby to express himself. For example, the baby, you see that in order to have communication with the caregiver, for the mother, he has or she has to cry. If he is thirsty, he is crying. He is in pain, he is crying. If he is hungry, he is crying. And they say that you can see that there would be different types of crying. The cry for the food is different from the cry for the pain. Okay, the mother sometimes can make distinction which type of crying is that. So this is the way that there would be the expression for the baby to present his needs. Then when the baby can talk, there would be less need for crying. Right? So this is the situation. But it was said also this crying will produce something else between the mother and the child or the infant. It is called the attachment. When there is crying, so this will encourage the mother to be close by. And also, whenever the baby finds that when he is crying, the help will come, this will produce the sense of attachment between the child and the mother. So this is what they call it, the attachment theory in actually this relationship between the mother and the child. But it seems that this type of attachment also is available for the adults. It was said that people who are crying, the people around that person who is crying are more prone to help. So the crying is kind of asking for help. And crying will actually have the big effect on people who actually see the crying to help that person. So we have different types of crying. So crying is, what type of crying is crying of sorrow, the sadness. This is very, popular type of crying. Also, you can see that the crying of, which is more important. I think this is the type of crying which we can say this is the cry of Imam Zain al-Abidin, the cry of objection. When you cannot express your objection by word, you express your objection by crying, to protest something which is not right. At the time of Bani Umayyah, people had no freedom of speech. That's why Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam for 35 years expressed his objection to Bani Umayyah by crying. At the time of Bani Umayyah, you see that there is one Umayyi Khalifa. He said to people, look, if you say to me, ittaqillah, exercise taqwa, I'm going to kill you. Don't say to me, ittaqillah. Don't say to me, exercise taqwa. You see that in the Majlis of Ibn Ziyad, when someone protested why you killed Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he ordered that this person who objected to the slaying of Imam Hussein to be killed. So Imam Zain al-Abidin salawatullah alayhi, by crying, he was trying to make the memory of Imam Hussein alayhi salam present in the hearts and the minds of people. This was the purpose of Imam Zain al-Abidin. And when someone told him, Ya Ali ibn al-Hussein, you are crying too much. It is better to stop. His answer was like this. He actually resembled himself to Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. Said Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 sons. Well, he actually missed one of his sons. He was not killed. He was just missed. But Yaqub was crying over the missing of Yusuf alayhi salam for about 20 years, till he lost his sight. Is that right? This is what the Quran says. وَبْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. He actually was crying and crying, till he lost his sight, and he was repressing his his anger over the missing of Yusuf alayhi salam. And that brothers of Yusuf didn't like the attention of Yaqub towards Yusuf. That's why they had a type of jealousy towards their brother Yusuf alayhi salam. So they actually thought that it is, good to take away Yusuf from the sight of Yaqub. Then his actually attention would be to them. And they were thinking that by the time Yaqub will forget Yusuf. This was their actually thinking. This is what the Quran says. The Quran says that, the brothers of Yusuf were not happy that their father constantly was crying over Yusuf, because crying means that he is still remembering Yusuf. Is that right? Because there is correlation between crying and remembrance. So what they said to the Yaqub, قالوا تالله تفتأ تذكر يوسف. By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't stop remembering Yusuf. تالله تفتأ تذكر يوسف حتى تكون حرضا أو تكون من الهالكين. And we think that this constant crying over Yusuf will make you fatally sick. You will be terminally sick by crying over Yusuf. أو تكون من الهالكين, or you're going to perish. You are going to die. What was the answer of Yaqub? He said, قال إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله. I just offer my huzn, my bath to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the difference between bath and huzn? Both of them is sadness. But there is difference between huzn and bath. You know, one of them, you know, you are keeping your sadness inside yourself. The other ones, no, you are revealing. So that's the difference between bath and huzn. You are scattering. There is the word of mabthuth in the Quran, if you remember. Mabthuth means scattering. You know, you are scattering your sadness to other people. That's why it is bath. So Yaqub said, قال إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. And I know something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you don't know. They were thinking that, you know, Yusuf is gone. That's why when they encountered Yusuf later on, what they said to Yusuf, this, Anta Yusuf? Are you Yusuf? They didn't recognize Yusuf. And they said to Yusuf, how you actually reached this position now? No, we put you in the well, and now you are sitting on the actually, you know, on the chair of the government. What happened? What was the answer of Yusuf? He said, look, in order to see this transformation, you have to grow two qualities in yourself. إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَتَّقِ وَيَصْبِرْ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. If you exercise taqwa and patience, then you are going to get rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, this is the reality that, you know, crying actually will produce the remembrance that people should not forget. You know, Imam Sajjad salawatullah alayhi was crying not only that people should not forget the memory of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, but also to remember for what reason Imam Hussein alayhi salam offered his life as sacrifice. For the goals of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, for the aims of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. What was the objectives of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam? This is the important thing. You know, crying, you know, we are gathering, you know, the reason that there is a hadith from Imam salawatullah alayhi that rahimallah man ahya amrana. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have mercy on those who are reviving our affairs. What is the affair? What would be the affair of the Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam? freedom, justice, tawheed. If we cry over Imam Hussein alayhi salam, but our manners would be contrary to the manner of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the crying would have no any benefit for us. The crying is good when crying will help us to get connected to the objective of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. But if we are crying over Hussein, but our manners would be more close to the manner of Shimr or Yazid, according to some of the ulama, said, Yazid one time killed Imam Hussein alayhi salam, but some people who are claiming that they are Shia of Imam Hussein, they are killing Imam Hussein every year because they are going against that, acting against the purpose of Imam Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. So this is actually what Zainab salawatullahi alayha said to Yazid. Yazid, you remember that Ibn Ziyad also ordered that the body of Hussein should be smashed by the hooves of the horses. Why they did this? Because they were thinking they have to actually not to kill Hussein alayhi salam, also to kill his purpose, his goal. They thought that if they do this type of smashing, then people will forget Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. So what Zainab said to Yazid, فَكِدْ كَيْدَكْ فَكِدْ كَيْدَكْ Yazid, employ all your deceitful actions. وَاسْعَى سَعْيَكْ, and do all your efforts. وَنَاصِبْ جُهْدَكْ, strive to your maximum. فَوَاللَّهِ لَا تَمْحُوا ذِكْرَنَا, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are not able to remove our memories from the hearts and minds of people. فَوَاللَّهِ لَا تَمْحُوا ذِكْرَنَا وَلَا تُمِيتُ وَحْيَنَا. You cannot stop our revelation, our wahy. This is what happened. That's why you see that in every actually location in this globe, you see the objection to injustice. You remember Imam al-Hussein salawatullah. That's why you say كل أرض كربلاء وكل يوم عاشوراء, because the purpose of Hussein was universal. It was not limited only to certain people. No. It is the concern for humanity. And that's why Imam as-Sajjad salawatullahi alayhi, during his lifetime, he actually emphasized on two things, on crying in order to keep the memory of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi alive in the minds and hearts of people, and also he was emphasizing on praying, on dua, because people were so attached to dunya at the time of Bani Umayyah, to the extent this attachment to dunya was preventing them to support the truth, to support the good cause, to support the justice. They needed to have connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This, because this is the problem, that if we are attached to dunya, then we are not capable to support the good cause. As Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam said in his actually khutbah to these people who did not support him. What he said? He said that الناس عبيد الدنيا. People are the slave of dunya. وَالدِّينُ لَعِبٌ عَلَىٰ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. And you see that, when they talk about the religion, they don't mean it. The religion will stay in their mouth. Religion is not going to their hearts. وَالدِّينُ لَعِبٌ عَلَىٰ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. What is the evidence that they don't mean the religion? When they actually encounter the bala. When they are encountered by the bala, then you see that they are not ready to support the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَإِذَا مُحِّصُوا بِالْبَلَاءِ قَلَّ الدَّيَانُونَ. You see only few people are attached to religion. So, the Quran says the same thing, the main problem for the man in his path to make his soul is attachment to dunya. The Quran says in Surah Al-A'la, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا in Surah Shams. You see that in Eid al-Fitr, in Salat al-Fitr, we recite these two chapters of Quran, because in these two chapters of Quran, you can see the emphasis that, detachment from dunya is important if you want to support the truth. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. But the Quran says, but this is the reality for many people. بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. So, this is the reason that Imam As-Sajjad salawatullah alayh was emphasizing on dua too, because dua will help the man to produce the state of detachment from the worldly positions. The people, they didn't support Imam Hussein because they were not able to offer sacrifice to establish the freedom. I was, reading in some articles. You see that when you see the Western movies here, they were branding. You see that they are branding the animals in order to actually prove the ownership. At the time of Bani Umayyah, they were branding the Muslims by their necks in order to show that they are still slaves. And these people, they reached this situation because they did not support the cause of